Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Wise Women Weekdays. And I am joyfully joined by Minty May, fellow member of the Healing Collective, fantastic, amazing tarot reader. And we're going to have some fun with you today, just delving into the world of tarot. And you say psychometry, don't you? So, Minty, over
I
to you.
do.
Who are you?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me here. So, yeah, I'm Minty May. I'm a psychic medium. I've been practicing as a psychic medium for just over 30 years now. It actually is 32 years, March. Um, so, I use tarot, I channel spirit. I do see people's past, present, and future, but I also do psychometry, which is where I'll take hold of a person's object, um, whether it belongs to them or not. It helps me link in with their energy, but it can help bring loved ones closer. And as you've experienced yourself when you had an online reading with me, if it's online, obviously I'm not going to ask you to send me items through the post. So I actually also get drawn to crystals and I actually use the energy. I get drawn to particular crystals, which helps me link into your energy the same way as well. So that's what psychometry is.
Yes, and I don't know why I always forget that because I went to psychic school or witchy school back in 2002 for a couple of years. And we went through all the different disciplines because they wanted to make sure we had a fully rounded training and that we did do psychometry. And I remember thinking, I'm really not very good at this. But I think it's and obviously you are very good at this. And I think it's kind of some people are better at it than others, but it is something you can train yourself in, would you say?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's like you'll probably get, like, say, for example, two tarot readers. They're not going to read the same way because you find your own way. You can train in this. I mean, I have run little courses or circles before, and when I've done development circles, part of it was psychometry. And the nice thing is, people really surprise themselves with the information they're being given because the way I do it is everyone would turn up, give me their item in secret, so no one else knew. And as I always used to say, don't pick your own because that's called cheating. Because you do, you get people try it, you do. But it's like you've literally got to trust what you're being given. You have got to fully let go. And it's the same with any way of working with spirit. You've got to fully trust and fully let go. And trust me, even after 30 years, I still doubt myself. I still question myself because it's called being human. And no one's ever going to get anything 100% right or perfect. You know, that just doesn't happen. But you want to get as near as damn it to it. I always say you should expect a high 80s, 90s percentage wise with any reading of accuracy. But it's the same with psychometry. But when you see people that have never done it before and they're getting things like who this object might have belonged to, what this person's character was, this personality, or who the object belongs to in the circle, and they pick up on their personality and characters, but then they're also able to sort of see what might be going on for them at that present moment in time. You know, you could pick up on whether it's like anxiety, happiness, sadness or difficulty or frustration or trepidation or excitement. It's so nice because I'm, especially for me, sitting there and I'm seeing people doing it, and it's like, this is so cool. This really is so cool. It's like the same pendulum working. Thanks.
Yeah. And I would say that it's like if you're interested in like antique furniture and going around like antique shops and picking up stuff and you kind of doing it anyway because but you wouldn't necessarily associate it with psychometry because you will be attracted to things. And when you pick things up, like I wanted a new teapot recently because one of my teapots are broken and I always like to buy secondhand teapots. It's just a thing I've got. And I trawled literally all the charity shops, like over like quite a long time, actually, months. And then I saw the
Mhm.
red teapot, and the red teapot just said to me, love. And I was like, right, that's my teapot. Because I could feel that there was kind of, love in a teapot. And it's like sometimes when you look
Yeah.
at bits of furniture, you would feel that you didn't feel so attracted to them or something. And I always say to people, smudge things when you get
Yeah.
things. You want to clear any negative resonance from them. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah, totally. And I don't believe that you just have to use sage. I'm a firm believer it's the intention, not the smell. So I actually say to people, if you're smudging your house and you don't like the smell of sage, well, then don't use sage because it's not going to work. All you're going to do is kind of put your, I hate this kind of thing going in. I'm
Bad.
like, it's like pick some lavender or find
Yeah.
an incense stick that you love the smell of, because the more you love something, the more that energy is going to go through into what you're doing.
Absolutely. I teach people to make smudge on my witchcraft course. And basically, I'm saying to them, you can use lavender, rosemary, mint, any of these things, roses, anything that you say you feel in love with. And then you just basically bind them, dry them, and off you go. And you've made it yourself. So it
Yeah.
can be so much more kind of energy in it than
Oh,
it's.
it's got much more potency in it. It really, because you've got your intention in that. And also, if you are going to buy smudge sticks from somewhere else, try to look for the ones that are chemical free. Try to look for the ones that are charcoal free. You know, there's some really, really nice incense sticks out there. Yes, they might be a little bit more expensive, but I just feel like they just have a better energy about them, in all fairness.
Well, you get what you pay for, don't you, basically? And that is
You
the
do.
with everything in spirit world. People don't appreciate you get what you pay for. So if you pay something, you'll get exactly to what you paid in return. And so if you think you're scrimping on something and you think, oh yeah, I'm getting a really free reading with this, well, you won't necessarily get the reading you could if you'd been a bit more generous. It's kind of like
This
spirit
is so true.
all up. So I do have to ask your name. So tell me about
So I was christened Phil, and I was named after my uncle, who I really have no time for. Um, but it was one of those. I mean, I got to about, it was 99, 2000, and I used to work behind bars. I used to run pubs for about 13 years. And we had the Halloween, New Year's Eve party, 70s night. So there's me back when I was about 21, looking a
that.
lot,
Figures now. I think you're slightly younger than me.
looking a lot fresher than I do this morning. And I'm in this tight white silver suit. I had really short hair, but I looked like, so I actually went for David Bowie, Aladdin Sane look. So I had all the makeup done. I had my hair pillar box red. I'm in this tight white silver suit for this 70s night. And we got this Polish guy that was in that used to come to our local a lot. And we were having this party. And all night he kept calling me Spice Mint. It wasn't until after midnight I realized he was trying to say I was a spaceman.
Oh,
But then one of my friends overheard that me being called Spice Mint. That was it. That stuck. Following day, I'm walking through town and I just start getting called Minty. And and to be fair, I changed my name by default 5 years ago. Because
wow.
to be honest with you, over the last 20 odd years, it's funny. I know it's like I know when some people knew me before I was Minty, so to speak, because they sometimes still occasionally called me Phil. But most people, well, everybody, since that point onwards, I've just been Minty. And it was a name that I love it. It sounds daft, but it was like people actually say to me now and go, "No, you're not a Phil." And it's like, "No, I'm definitely not a Phil."
And I think a moniker is really important because it's kind of like it's a description, it's like how you choose to show up in the world. So it's like we were saying about the incense and everything. If you've got love for that name, then you show up in love. And so I think that's kind of, really beautiful. Ah. And you said you've been doing this for like 30 years. So how old are you, Minty? Is that a rude question?
No, not at all. I'm going to be 45 in about 5 weeks' time.
So you're saying so that's going to be March. So it must have been
Yeah,
birthday that this all started then.
I was March the 5th. Is my birthday, so I'm a Pisces. But no, my grandmother started my. Funny enough, actually, it was about 5 years old when my grandmother started my training. I've actually got a photo of my grandmother, one of my very few limited photos of my grandmother.
Wow.
Um, she she truly was a character. So I've got a bit more of a, there's a bit more of a. modern look of
Has she got red
how
hair?
she looks. Yeah, yeah, skipped a generation.
Yeah,
So she was ginger, and then it went to me.
so 5 years old, she started training you. And what is she, was she a medium herself?
She was a medium herself. I also, in the nicest possible way, she was a witch.
Yeah.
She was, so she would follow the seasons. She would make her own. She was very much in for making her own oils, soaps, that kind of thing. But she was a medium as well. And the one day I'm chatting to, I mean, she saw me chattering away, and she could see who I was talking to. And but she wanted me to say who I was talking to. So she turned around and said, "Well, who are you talking to?" And I said, "Talking to Uncle Jim and Uncle George." Uncle Jim's a bit like me, bit of a longer face. Uncle George was a bit more rounder. He was ginger as well. Turns out these were her two brothers. Now, I'm not being funny. I'm 5 years old. I might have seen photos, but at 5 years old, I'm not retaining any information at all. I mean, I was like 100 miles an hour, Zebedee, basically. And she goes, okay. She goes, because she got me to describe them to her. And that's when she realized that I could see and hear spirit, because both of these people had died during the Second World War. So there's no way of me ever meeting them. And then she had the patience of a saint. How you get a 5 year old to sit still and meditate is beyond me, but she managed it. But she got me to sit in her garden. And I still use this meditation today, and I love it. It's like, can you hear the wind blowing through the trees? Can I hear her bees buzzing around her lavender bushes? Can I feel the breeze on my skin? Can I feel the sun on my face? What she was getting me to do was to focus my attention, to draw my attention down into like a pinpoint. So I'm blocking everything else out, and I'm just focusing on this attention. And then over the years, she started teaching me how to work with crystals, pendulums, tarot. She even taught me how to use Ouija boards, which I'm happy to use. Psychometry was another one of her favorites that she used to get me to do. But the one thing that she always, she still tells me off for this today. It's quite funny because whenever a medium, if I've gone to an evening or something and she pops up, this is the first thing she comes through and she goes, "We're going to talk about tea." Now, bearing in mind, she read tea leaves, her mum read tea leaves, her mum read tea leaves. Now, I'm the first male in the family to do what I do. I can't stand tea. I hate it. I'm a coffee drinker. I have 6 shots of coffee in one of my coffees. I mean, that's what I'm drinking this morning. Um, so
Branding.
she's turned around. Yeah, it's the local one down the corner. But she got me to sit down this one day, and she goes, we're going to do tea leaves." And I'm like, "Grant, I don't like tea." And she goes, "I don't care." So she's poured this tea, she's got me to drink it, got me to turn the cup over, and then she used to do it, turn it 3 times, and then turn it over and see what you get. And I know that where the tea lies, or the shapes it makes in the cup towards the handle or whatever, it's supposed to be able to read it. And I picked this cup up. Now I'm about 9 years old at this time. And I picked this cup up. I've literally forced this tea down me. And she goes, "Right, what do you see?" And I look into the cup and I look directly at her without dropping a beat and go, "Tea." The only time my gran ever got angry with me. It is the only time she ever got angry. She went, "Don't be silly. What do you see?" And I went, "Seriously, gran, all I see is tea." I said, "There's nothing." She's grabbed the cup out of my hand and she starts going, "Well, what about this? What about that? What about that?" And I'm like, "Gran, it's tea. I don't like tea." So she goes, "I can't believe it. I read it. Your great gran read it. Her mum read it. You're the first one." She said, "Call yourself a May, and you're the first one in the family that can't read tea leaves." And I went, "No,
And you can't.
I can't."
No, but you've got children. Can either of them do it?
They were stepchildren, but no, no, they don't. I haven't taught them to read tea leaves or anything like that either. So no,
Yeah. And yeah, they don't have your bloodline.
no. I don't have any children. I don't have any children of my own.
Yet, Minty May. Yet, Minty.
No, it would be a definite. I don't have any children, because yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we won't delve into that. I think that's
But the
children.
funny thing is, though, I mean, over the years, every now and again, the Gran would pop up and she'd be like, "And how are you getting on with tea?" And I'll be like, "Gran, I can't stand tea." And then literally after she's passed, I went to an evening, sometime last year, just out the blue. A friend of mine wanted to go. I said, "Yeah, I'll come along with you." I'm sat at the back. And I know a few of the people in the audience because it's at my local spiritualist church that I went to. And, I kind of tell this story a lot because there's a lot of humor in it. But this lady that was at the platform, she goes, "I've got a lady here saying you should be up here doing what I'm doing." And I went, "Okay." And she was like, she said, "Actually, I want to change that. You do what I do." I went, "Yes, I do." I said, "It is something I do." And then she was like, "But apparently you don't read tea." And that was it. The whole place just erupted in laughter because they knew exactly who it was. And yeah, she came through. So that was really kind of cool.
But it's ironic that you don't like tea. And do you have to, when you're reading tea, do you have to drink the tea yourself in order to
I
read?
don't I don't think you drink the tea, it's the person who drinks the tea who's having the reading done. But because of the process of me Graham wanting me to learn how to do it, I had to drink the tea
To have the tea to read?
to
But so
have the tea to read.
are you telling me, Minty, you cannot read tea?
I cannot read tea. I
Okay.
really cannot read tea.
Your other skills, it's probably more than enough because you read day in, day out, don't you?
Yeah, I mean it's literally near enough every day. I have to remember to give myself a day off, so to speak. I am extremely fortunate. I am extremely lucky and very grateful to everyone that books me for a reading. But yeah, I work daily with it.
And so let's go on to tarot because tarot is an interesting
Mm,
one because tarot, I read tarots, as you say, everyone has their own way of doing it. And tarot for me is a divination tool that's just a
yeah.
way of reading further clarification of what you're reading in the energies. And some people don't need tarot, but some people like tarot. And it's the same with runes and anything else. You pick your metal, or yeah, you choose your kind of medium, as it were. And with tarot, do you have like any particular type of tarot deck you like working from? Because when people are learning tarot, they always start with Rider Waite. Personally, I hate that tarot deck, so I don't work with it at all. I work with somebody else's, but what do you kind of work with?
So I'm actually using my favorite deck at the moment is called the Lightseers Tarot, which the
Right.
colours are absolutely beautiful in these, I must admit. And I love this deck. Now I actually do teach tarot, and I must admit I teach with the Rider Waite, and I'm like you. I think it's one of those. It's a great tarot deck to learn, but then once you've learned that deck, you can then adapt it to any other deck that you're much more comfortable with. And again, it's the intention. Find a deck you love. You're going to have a better connection with it. You're going to have a better relationship with it. So it's going to work better for you. Me, I love, believe it or not, I love my bright colors. So this is why I love the Light Seers Tarot. But I will use Oracle cards as well. And it's one of those that I've got many decks from over the years. I think my very, very first ever deck, which I still have, is my 1JJ Swiss Tarot deck that I got when I was 13 years old, which my grandmother got me. And it was the day before I did my very first psychic fair with her when I was 13. So
Wow.
that's why I've been doing it for over 32 years now. And I still got that deck, and it's got a special place. I mean, another one that I used to have was the Thoth deck, and I liked it at first, but also I do fall out of love with decks. It's like every now and again, I'll start with a deck and I love it. And then all of a sudden I feel like, nah, the energy doesn't feel right with that. So I've put it to one side. I won't get rid of it. And I've got quite a collection now, but it's like crystals.
Behind me is a whole box of tarot. Yeah, exactly. Trunk of different tarots that have been discarded. I totally agree with you. It's like you're in the mood for one deck and you really want to work with it. And then suddenly it's like, actually, this is not working for me anymore. And I feel like it's maybe related to obviously our own spiritual journeys, kind of where we're at and the frequency that which we're working to. So your ones are very similar to my ones, my oracle
Oh,
ones.
they're beautiful. I like that. I like that one.
Very
Is that the
beautiful.
world?
That is Heal Yourself. No, that's the sun.
Oh, oh wow. Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
So I've yeah, they're really beautiful. Healing Spirits, these ones are called. But I've also got a great tarot deck at the moment that I'm using called The Forager's Daughter, which my friend bought for my daughter. And they are absolutely just, I really like working with them because they're
Oh,
so
they're so cool.
they've got like I think it's so
Oh, wow.
that's because I'm kind of
Oh,
find that quite feminine, quite watery, kind of quite gentle. And I'm, my intention is to work more with the element of water this year. But I think the message is really for people with tarot. I think we're saying, aren't we, that, find something that really resonates with you and,
yeah.
you feel a connection to. Don't just go for the standard ones. I did a tarot course which was 21 days long with Gina Spriggs. It was an online course, and she said basically you work out what you like. If you understand numerology and kind of the main principles, and you make your relationship with each card and you know what it means. So when it shows up in a reading, you know what that message is because you intuit
Yeah.
what that message is because you've already had a relationship with that card. So
That's
it,
true. And the same with the colors. I mean, the colors have meanings, the numbers have meanings. I mean, one of the things I always say to people when they're reading the tarot as well, you won't necessarily see the whole card. You might just get drawn to a small bit. You might get drawn to the color, the number, the name. You might get drawn to a small little symbol that is somewhere on that card, and that will be enough to give you that little bit of extra information. For me, I think you're right when you were saying about the tarot. It just adds that little bit more sometimes, for me personally, um, to the message that I'm trying to give. I mean, as you're aware, when you have the reading with me, I don't start with the cards. I kind of use them later as like a confirmation of what I've said, or just to bring up any little pieces. Some people do use the cards and they can read the cards and they will read it for what that card. I mean, each card, truthfully, has probably about 20, 30 different meanings, in all fairness, and you got to try and remember. And I have this little argument with people about the reverse meaning of the tarot as well. Because one of the things I was always taught, and again, I was taught by my grandmother, she said, if the card comes out reversed, it doesn't matter because you will still, even if it doesn't come out reverse, if there is a reverse meaning to come out, you will still see it anyway, regardless of whether the card's face up, on its side, upside down. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you're reading the energy, not the card, and the card will always give you. So the card might come out in a positive light, but you could see it or get the feeling of it that it should be upside down or the reverse meaning. So whereas some people are like, if the card comes out reversed, they've got to have it reversed. I'm like, well, no, because I mean, normally all my cards will come out in the positive. But if I feel like it's a reverse card, I'm going to get that message anyway because I'm trusting the information that's coming through as well.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I agree with you there. And also, what I'd say about readings, I don't know if you agree with this, is the fact that they are for that moment in time. They are the
Yeah,
snapshot and they can forecast, and you're very good at forecasting, and people have different skills again around forecasting. But it's kind of like it's that moment in time and the best it can be at that moment in time. And there's so many other people on this earth that at any point, someone else drops a ripple in the pot, a pebble in the pond, their ripple runs into your ripple, then it won't necessarily, there are guidance and kind of, to be taken with love and with raising your vibration to the highest frequency it can be. So you attract what you want, but don't hang your,
yeah.
necessarily build everything on that, as you were saying, is accuracy and stuff like that. Would you say that's fair?
Completely, completely. I always say past is concrete, it's solid, it's happened, it's done. It's easier to read someone's past. So when spirit comes through, like a loved one, they will tell me things about your past first because they want you to know that I've definitely got that person that's coming through. Present, again, it's kind of fixed because it's what's going on in the here and now. Future, I always say is wobbly. I always say it's very wobbly.
It can change because, like I say that with astrology, I can tell you what's going to happen, but you can work out kind of, anything else. Yeah, just I don't like forecasting. I don't feel very comfortable in it, but yeah, it's definitely your skill. You are absolutely brilliant and amazingly accurate.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
where do you live, Minty?
I live in Evesham, Worcestershire, a little town. I'm about 45 minutes away south of Birmingham,
Oh, have you always lived there?
pretty much. Originally, I came from London,
Oh,
moved to a little village called Honeybourne, lived
oh.
there till I was about 20, then moved into Evesham, which was like 6 miles away. Lived there till I was 27 and then went to Milton Keynes for 10 years. Why I went to Milton Keynes, I don't know. Sorry if anyone's from Milton Keynes, but there we go. I lived there for 10 years. So, and then I moved back to Evesham when I was 37.
Wow. Okay. For some reason, I thought you were from Bristol and Glas.
Nah,
No, you're from up there. Nah,
nah.
nah. And whereabouts in London?
Wandsworth.
Oh, okay. Is that where your gran was?
Yeah. No, my grandma's in Malvern, which is probably, well, it's half an hour away from here.
Oh.
But she was born in the East End and lived in the East End up until she got married to my granddad at the end of the Second World War
And they moved out to Malvern.
because he came from Malvern.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
So London, kind of, and then that part of the country. What do you call that part of the country? My geography is terrible.
West Midlands.
West Midlands. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm getting you. Is it near the sea?
no, we're right inland. We're about an hour and a half away from the sea.
Well, it's just like geography. Wow. Obviously.
I'm about from here. It would take me about hour and a half, 2 hours to get to Wales.
Oh, okay. Well, that's useful and handy. How long does it take you to get to Glastonbury from there?
Glastonbury, it's going, funny enough, I think it's about 2 hours.
Oh,
It's about 2 hours.
that's
So it's
well.
not too bad.
And what about Lewis?
Lewis, it would, I think, take me just over 3 hours. But I'm gonna be getting the train to you, so it's gonna take me about 3.5, 4 hours.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
good to know. And just before we finish up, tell me, like, we talked about the fact that I have had readings from you online, and then a lot of people are like, oh no, I need to be in person because I feel that it won't be accurate. And I know that because online is brought to us literally by electricity, we're made of electricity, and spirit speaks to us through electricity, that it's absolutely no barrier. But what's your view on that?
I do online readings. I do in person. If people can come and see me in person, I think it's nice because it's a much more personal touch in a sense. But online works just as well. There's no difference in the quality of the readings. I mean, I'm very, very fortunate and lucky, not only to have clients who are local to me, but I have clients overseas as well. So, for example, I was doing a reading for someone in Costa Rica the other day. I did a reading for someone in India. I've got clients tomorrow morning in Australia. I've got clients in Canada and America as well, who some are new and some are repeat clients as well as this country. It's more just working out the time zones.
I know I work with Canada. I have clients internationally as well, but I work with Canada a lot, and it's just a 5 hour time. It's such a
It's
small window.
such a small window, isn't it? It really is, with some of them. But no, I must admit, and I think no, you can still get the same quality of reading because at the end of the day, spirit don't distance is nothing to them.
They're
If
immediate.
I like to see the person who I'm doing the reading for because at least then you're getting that interaction. That's important. But at the end of the day, if that loved one's going to come through, they're going to come through regardless of the distance.
Yeah, I had to do a reading on someone where I couldn't see them because the Zoom camera failed at their end, and they were like, and I was like, we're just going to progress with this because this feels right, and we're just going to do it. And it made no difference apart from reassuring her that I didn't need to see her face to be
Yeah.
accurate, be able to understand what her issues were. It was spiritual counseling, it wasn't a tarot reading, but it was like she was like, wow, you got me in like 4 seconds. And I was like, yeah, I don't need to see you to read you, basically.
I think it's nice having a voice or some sort of For
yeah.
me personally,
Yeah.
you need that some sort of connection.
Yeah, energy exchange. Yeah, I completely
Yeah,
better to be visual. But yeah, I was just saying that it doesn't, yeah, people need an adjustment in thinking around how this works would be useful. So is there, well, I guess, would you pull a card for the Wise Women Weekdays? Let's see what
yeah, of course,
the Wise Women Weekdays.
definitely.
Might as well do it while we're here, everyone.
Well, exactly. And the other nice thing as well is if you are unsure about the online readings, please feel free to go and watch my lives. Because I mean, it's like the lives that I do, I'm not seeing, I'm not hearing them, but they're still giving the feedback when they're responding in the comments. And that's another nice way. So that kind of shows that it does work in that sense. Right. So I'm using my Light Seers Tarot.
Oh,
Oh, say that again.
I just
Got one
went,
of my men.
oh,
Now
them.
I've got one of my guide. Now I've got one of my guides coming through. Time for being gentle, time for being outdoors in the fresh air if you can this week. Definitely one for getting grounding. Energies are going to be up and down like a roller coaster as well, starting from Tuesday through to Thursday, Friday morning. But don't worry, it's one of those where I want to say sit tight. And if you can get by water, that's going to help balance those energies out. But it's a time for making your new plans, putting your new progress in. If you've got new ideas or you're focusing on a new job or a house move or something along those lines, this is the week to really put your intention and focus into that. Is there something going on with the moon today?
It's
Out
a
of curiosity, because I just got shouted the moon.
moon on Friday. And that's what I was thinking when you were saying that and you were going new beginning to it. I was thinking new moon.
I didn't even realize there was a new moon. That's how oblivious I am to what day of the week we're on. But no, they just literally shouted to me the moon, but it's the intention. Here we go. Oh, that one wants to jump out. We having another one?
And this
Yeah,
is
love
people
that.
watching Wise Women Weekdays, Minty's kind of live reading for you.
One from the top, one from the middle, one from the bottom. Here we go. Oh, I love it. So we've got the Three of Cups, which is all about support, new friendships, new connections, gathering together. It's making that time for each other, but it's also being gentle. And if you're in a point or a place where you're needing a little bit of help, now is the time to start speaking up for it. Again, we got the Hangman. Now, this is about trying to choose the right path, the right choice, the right direction. It's like you're not as stuck as you think you are. It's all up here. It's sometimes writing it down just gives you that direction, gives you that focus. But trust your intuition. It isn't going to let you down. You are definitely on the right path. But there's new friendships coming together. People are meeting new friendships, having new connections that way as well. Like I say, it's all about newness. And I think because we had in Bolt the other day, which for me is always definitely the start of spring. And funny enough, I was walking through my park yesterday and seeing the daffodils starting to shoot. I love this time of year. Everything's starting to come back alive again. And it is, it's putting those intentions out. I'm just going to pull a couple from my Oracle deck as well, which a very good friend of mine gave. Her daughters went traveling for a couple of years and took the photos, and my friend turned them into a set of Oracle cards, which I absolutely love. Here we go. So support each other, a bit like the Three of Cups is having that connection, collaborating. There's a lot of collaborating going on for people this year. Um, and it's that spiritual community mindedness coming together. And it's that working together, shining your light on the world. You know, for me, again, that kind of represents with the hangman where with her mind, if I can find the card, you know, from a thought process, you've got that real beacon of light. So it's finding my passions, that make those starts, make those new changes. If you're looking at joining the gym, if you're looking at changing your diet, changing your job, changing where you live, bring that energy in because it's all there for you and time to move. So it's all about moving forward at the same time as well, letting go of the past, healing, moving forward. This year is going to be a very bright year for a lot of people. Um, but make sure you get out into the outdoors, countryside, massively important. Be amongst the trees.
Thank you, Minty. You, as always, are a complete legend. You can get Minty's contact details below. So he does readings. I think it's £40 a reading,
It is.
which is ridiculously cheap, and he needs to charge more, but that's between me to discuss And yes, and book yourself a reading. And I hope you've enjoyed what you've heard here today about tarot, psychometry, Minty's story, and like and subscribe to Wise Women Weekdays, and we will be back soon. Take care. Thank you, Minty.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.